Thanks to the support as a channel member, Rob Harley. I am loving having a team with such a good youth setup. We have a full 11 of homegrown players. We're top of the league. We have just had to sell one of our best players to our title rivals, though. So I think we're like South African Dortmund, I think. But don't worry, because it wasn't the one you think it was. And Bambo is still here. He's also still wanted by Inter and Napoli. They decided not to take the plunge in the summer transfer window, so he's just here doing more than one goal and assist contribution per match and averaging a 7.48. That's lovely to see. But on deadline day, we did lose. Kizzy. Is that how we say his name? Kaizer Chiefs came in, offered his £375,000 minimum fee release clause. That was frustratingly low. And as one of our highest average rated players who at defensive midfield had done 4 goal contributions in 5 matches and a man of the match and a 7.36 average rating, he's gone to Kaizer Chiefs, a direct title rival of ours, because if you look at the league table, we're first, they're second. And if we look at the media dream 11, he's still in there. He was one of our 2 boys who were in there, and Bambo isn't anymore considered the best player in the league either, which is very, very sad. But even with doing that transfer, we're not really any better off than we were before. We're still £600,000 in debt. We've still got all these loans to pay. The projection for the end of the season is still rotten. The one thing we have got going in our favour now is we are actually within our wage budget. So I have managed to shave £10,000 a week off the wage budget through the transfers. And I've even signed a player as well. I mean, he's not very good. He was cheap and we needed another defender. So Sifui Hendricks is a 22-year-old former South African under-19 international, former under-19 international, not former South African as far as I know. 2.5 stars of current ability, 3 stars of potential. Don't expect to see him starting regularly. But like I say, we needed another body in at centre-back. We were a little bit light. We were starting a 17-year-old. I mean, we probably will continue to start a 17-year-old on a regular basis. But one thing I've noticed about here in South Africa, when your players going international duty, which when you've got a lot of good young players, they get called up for the under-23s and the under-21s. You get a lot on international duty at a time. There's no international break here. So we're going into today's match with all of these players either on international duty or out of the club on loans and various other reasons for being unavailable. I don't know why we've not got my... this isn't my... Hang on. Why was that not my squad view? Why would it just take my squad view away? But yeah, this is a very light team going into this game against Golden Arrows. The transfer window is now closed, so we don't have to worry about losing any more of our players. We are unbeaten in the league. The only game we've lost was to Kaizer Chiefs in the cup. I had planned to show you the Kaizer Chiefs match today, but I think because of cup stuff, that's been pushed back to December. So we will come back in the next episode for Kaizer Chiefs. But today we're just going to play a couple of matches. I think this one where everyone's away on international duty is interesting because it shows us some of the youngsters that we've got. I mean, as you can see, there's still plenty of other good young players knocking around. The fact we've got a 6'4" striker just sat there that I haven't even called up yet. We're going to have a fun time. But for today, this is the team. So it's LOLLUJO in goal. Am I saying his name right? Basically, he's our backup goalkeeper. He has got 6 caps for Congo, but he's our backup goalkeeper because our normal goalkeeper is one of the many players away on international duty. So he's in on goal. At left back, we have Radaby and then Jacobs and Makubo alongside Hloffi. It is very much a makeshift back four. Radaby has played a little bit, but Jacobs, no, not really. I mean, I didn't notice he was 6'7". I might be changing my views on him. I mean, as you would expect for a 6'7" player, he scores at a goal a game for us. He's going to be partnering Makubo, who again has not played every game. Hloffi is a regular starter for us at right back, so at least we've got him in. We've then got Mathibula at the base of the midfield, who has been playing further forward, but now has to drop back because of the fella who's left, which is a bit of a problem because he's another one who was doing a goal a game or a goal contribution a game with a huge average rating. We're now going to get less of that out of him. Ahead of him, we've got Zimela, who manages to keep his spot in midfield. And Rapaksa is the guy who's going to come in and basically take over from your fella who's just left. Not homegrown at club. Hideous, as far as I'm concerned. We are playing the youngster Bafana Phillips up front today. I am tempted to bring the... should we get Mr. 6'7" involved? Should we get him up into the squad? 6'7" Kurt is coming up into the squad. Oh, he's injured. That'll be why Paskev hasn't called him up. We should probably just pop him back where he came from. I don't remember. What squad was he in? You know what? We'll leave him there. I don't want to forget he exists, but that's why I didn't call him up as part of all these call-ups. There you go. See, there's logic to it. Dlimani is one of our better players and does get to start on the right-hand side, and on the left, it's going to be Makanya, who is, I mean, he's a very good player, but we don't get to, I mean, we usually play him up front because we have Mbombo out on the left-hand side, but we don't have anyone to cover for him, so he's going to drop back onto the left, which brings Phillips in up front. It is a mess. It is super duper makeshift, and even in that scenario, poor old Hendricks, I've just signed, isn't going to get to start, so that shows where he is in the pecking order. But I imagine Golden Arrows are going to be impacted in a similar way. Yeah. So they've got a bunch of players around international duty as well, so it's just bonkers that there's no international break. I don't know if that's a thing in South Africa, or if that's a fault with the database. I mean, the fact that the South African League is a league that is in the vanilla version of Football Manager. It's not a league that we've added in. It's the only league in Africa we've not had to add in, because in vanilla Football Manager, the only league in Africa is South Africa. So theoretically, it should be the one league that actually works. So that leads me to think they might not follow international breaks in South Africa. But let me know in the comments. I'm sure you'll let me know. It could be something that has just got a little bit broken over time because of the fact that we're, 8-9 seasons into this save now. The fact that the rest of the world, there's so many leagues that have been added into the rest of the world. There might have even been some amendments to the South African League as part of the database changes. I didn't study every league in the database. I kind of assumed that the standard ones would be left untouched, but maybe it hasn't been. But there is Bafana Phillips. He's going to become a hero for us. Having our own little homegrown striker. There's nothing quite as exciting as a homegrown striker. And now I know I've got a 6'4" one to go alongside him. I suspect in the near future, especially now we've lost a midfield player, I think there's a good chance we'll switch towards a 4-2-4. And obviously we've got Makanya, who we don't want to bin off immediately, but the long-term future of Stellenbosch is a big man, little man, front two in a 4-2-4. I think that's what we're leaning towards longer term. I imagine when Mbombo leaves, Makanya can just move out onto the left-hand side where he's playing today, because he seems to be doing a pretty decent job out there today. And we are 2-0 up, and we are a good football team. I am having a very nice time here in South Africa. The question, of course, because I assume, and it might be too early, I might be counting my chickens before they're hatched. We don't know how many players we're going to lose in the next transfer window. And we don't know what impact their finances are going to have. But I think it's, at this stage, I'm going to dangerously hope that we are going to qualify for the Champions League this season. I think it is only the top 2 teams qualify for the Champions League, but we certainly seem to be one of the best 2 teams in the league. So I think there's a good chance we qualify for the Champions League. Whether or not we win the league is a different matter entirely. But as long as we get into the Champions League, that gives us a chance. But unlike in Japan, where getting into the Champions League, you're going to be one of the better teams in it because Japan is the best league. We're kind of more akin to what it was like when we were in Thailand with the mackerel. We can get a South African team into the Champions League. That's by no means a guarantee that we'd be competitive. We've got Egypt and Tunisia as bigger and stronger leagues. So a lot of it is get into the Champions League as soon as possible, see how we get on. If we're miles off the pace, we jump ship to an Egyptian or a Tunisian team with a little bit of African pedigree to help us make the jump. We don't have to force it through at a certain time like we did when we left Japan. We could wait for the right job and apply for that. And it's all this tactical planning going on in here. None of it's to do with actual in-game tactics. It's save management, career management, tactical stuff as we look to navigate our course through winning this Pentagon before my manager is too old to realistically do it. I mean, I don't want to be doing it with a 90-year-old manager. I think my manager is 50, 51, 52 now. Obviously a good 25 years older than I am in real life. But I mean, I would like to think we can get the challenge complete and still hit normal retirement age in the UK, which is, I believe, 67 now. Is that right? I know some of you are old enough to know. Is it 67? I want the save wrapped up by certainly. I think we put a hard stop of we need to complete the Pentagon before my in-game manager turns 70. That gives us another 15 to 20 years, depending on exactly how old I am, and I'm not entirely sure how old I am. But I think that's reasonable. I think we get what it took us 7 or 8 seasons and multiple clubs, 4 clubs to get through Asia. It shouldn't be that way again on any other continent. We should be looking at doing each one in 2 or 3 seasons. I would think. I don't think that's maybe Europe might take a little bit longer if we're not allowed to manage anyone who's won it previously. But I think certainly anywhere else, 2 or 3 seasons. I don't think that's unrealistic, is it? Clothy's picked up an injury. Hendricks is going to get to come on and make his debut. What an exciting time for him. Let's make that change. So Makubo's going to have to go out to right back. There you go. So Hendricks does get to play for us a little bit sooner than anticipated after coming in as basically our 4th choice centre-back. And now Macania has picked up a knock as well. So Chalk can come on for him. We're also going to bring on Selemani to play in. I mean, he's more attacking. We don't really have anyone who can drop. But I mean, I'm tempted to do that and drop him back because he's the weaker of the midfielders, I think. I don't know if we're going to count. Now we don't really have an out-and-out holding midfielder. I'm tempted to switch it up. The problem is all of the preset tactics go from 1 to 2 holding midfielders, and we don't really have 1, so we certainly don't want to move to having 2. So we might have to train some of these boys to play slightly different roles. Right, we're going to play Undlove at right back because what's the harm? He can sort of play right wing back. That means, as far as I'm concerned, he's basically a right back. So get him in there, get him doing his thing. He might have to. We've got a few boys who are probably going to have to train for some new positions because I don't think signing players is ever going to be a big thing at this club. We're going to be developing what we've got. And to do that, we're going to have to get players playing in some different positions. Like we don't need 4 right wingers in our first team squad. That's what we've got at the moment because that's what's come through the youth team. So some of them are going to have to learn to play some different positions if they want to get regular football. So in fact, on that note, let's get him training to play there. And then where's Undlove? He can learn to play right back. Although actually, he's already a better wing back. So maybe he's the one to play right back. He's got 1 for tackling. And he claims to be a natural right back. He's got 7 for tackling. He's the one who's going to learn to play right back. At least he can tackle a bit. You know what? We should probably get them both doing it. I don't know why. Oh, we can only choose. We'll just get them both doing it. They can both learn to play right back. We need right backs. There you go. Get them both in there, learning to play that position. Right, oh, I thought we had a cup game next. We don't. It's Baroka. So I guess we'll play them in 18 days. Hopefully we'll have our players back by then. Well, 2 weeks later, we're playing Baroka FC and I cannot find them. I've done much Googling. They apparently play at something called the Global Stadium, which doesn't exist. But I think another name for it is the Baroka FC Village, which I think is this. It doesn't look like a top division football stadium though, and there's no way to look at it close up. I mean, we can look at it from this road. I don't know that there's a 15,000 capacity Premiership stadium in there anywhere, is there? But if we do Baroka Global Stadium, which is apparently what it's called. I mean, this is it. I just don't know where it is. Can't find it. And that doesn't look like it. And sometimes they change the sign so it says global state. I don't know. That's where we're going. Hopefully for another victory, because we have our boys back. So Rebello is back in goal. A back four of why can't I say Redebi's name? Hendricks, Nguenya, and Hlofi, Makubo at the base of the midfield, Zimela and Mathibula in the centre of midfield, and Bambo back in on the left, Glimani on the right, and Makanya moves back to centre forward. Remember when I said I was coming to South Africa so I could say the names? Get me back to Japan. At least I knew enough Japanese wrestlers to be able to look like I had spent the time learning to say the names properly, when in actual fact, most of them were named after wrestlers. You don't get a lot of South African wrestler. Maybe I need to get into South African wrestling and learn some names that way. But yeah, these names are very complicated. Very complicated. And Rebelo, who, I mean, he looks like a tall boy. How tall is he? He's 6'4". I tell you what, not only is this a squad that is 90% players who've come through our youth team, we produce some giants as well. There must be excellent soil in Stellenbosch. Apparently it is the South African wine region. So maybe they just grow up on wine and growth hormone. And we got some big boys knocking around, which is certainly plays into my way of playing Football Manager. We might just win everything with them. Can we just get into the Champions League right now? I feel like we could just win it immediately while we've still got Mbambo at the club. And there is another assist for him if it's been given, although Makanya looked miles offside. It has been disallowed. And yeah, I mean, even I noticed that was offside, but we do have a corner. It's Mbambo floating one in. And unfortunately, none of our big boys able to make some proper contact with it. Knowing we've got a 6'4" goalkeeper does mean that when we are chasing those last minute goals, we might have to start switching back to very attacking again to get our goalkeepers forward. And what a finish that is from Makanya. Goodness me, that's a good goal. That has, I mean, he's taken one touch on that. I need to look at the replay. So ball comes over, one touch, and that's just perfectly placed outside of the boot as well. Beautiful stuff. And look at us starting to pull clear at the top of the league. I mean, to be fair, Kaizer Chiefs have only played 5 games. So take it with a pinch of salt. I guess they get an international break and the rest of us don't. I feel like there's some favouritism here in South Africa. Maybe it's because their players were called up to full international teams. Maybe you can't request postponements if all your players are under 23s, which the majority of ours are. Even Mbambo doesn't go to the full South African squad. He was away with the under 23s. So maybe the fact that we've got half of the under 23 starting 11 at our club means we have to play through with a massively impacted team. Whereas Kaizer Chiefs, because they've probably got most of the national team, they can postpone their matches. I mean, it's gone in our favour. We've won the matches while international duty was going on, and I'd always rather have the points than the games in hand. So I guess we can't complain too much, but I don't know how many of these international breaks they're going to be, whether it's going to be a thing that impacts us every season. We're only planning on being here 2 years. We're winning the Champions League next year. It's going to be lovely. Right, let's have another goal for today, please. Dlamini. In my mind, he's Flamini, the guy who used to play for Arsenal and is now very wealthy, richer than Tom FM. He's like him, but with a D rather than an F. That's how I need to learn to say his name. Right, 1-0 up at half time. Come on then. Let's keep it going, boys and girls, and then figure out how to get home from a stadium that doesn't appear on Google Maps, which isn't alarming at all. Even when we were mooching around in the Thai lower leagues, we could find all the stadiums. That looked like it's come off Rebello and then into the crossbar. I think that was a very good save. And then he's up to collect the cross as well. Lovely stuff. We've got a big dominant goalkeeper and I am loving it. Dlamini now into the area, floats it over. Is that a penalty? Yes, it is a penalty. Hlofi is pushed and it's going to be Mbambo to hopefully add to his goal tally for the season and continue to attract attention. Hopefully Inter are watching that and decide not to buy him as a result, and we can keep him forever. At least we need the current interest from Inter and Napoli to go away. So he tells me he's actually happy at the club after all. That's what Dlamini's done. We need him to say he's happy at the club after all. So then when someone else comes in for him, we can renegotiate with him another price. Because at the moment, we've had to agree to him that we'll sell him for 450,000, which seems way, way too low. But if we could get him temporarily happy at the club, give him a new contract, either with a big release fee or just a pay rise, a longer contract. When someone else then comes back in for him, we might be able to say, actually, we want £1 million for you. I mean, we saw when we were in Thailand how cheap players can be bought out of South Africa for. With Put Lane, I think we got him for next to nothing. So there is certainly the South African player market seems very cheap. But if we can convince a European team to spend £1 million on him, £1 million makes a huge difference for us. They won't even notice it. If you're managing Inter, it makes no difference whether you get him for free or get him for 4 million. So just give us 4 million. It would change this club forever. That is an incredibly long throw. Goodness me, I've not seen a long throw like that since the Streamer Showdown days. Wowzers. All right, I might have to look into. I mean, we always like to do a long throw. I'd love a player who could do that. I tell you what, Rebello's good, isn't he? For a big boy, he gets down. That's lovely work from him. And now we've got to watch him flap at the corner. Now he doesn't even come for it. But no, I'm enjoying having a very good goalkeeper. We never really have, even at Osaka, goalkeeper was probably our weakest position. This is the first proper decent goalkeeper we've had in the Pentagon, I think. So I'm loving it. Right, let's make some changes. Unlove, who has already become a makeshift right back, so he's picking it up very quickly. And Bambo, I think he was poor last time you saw him play as well. He stat pads off camera, I think. And then we're going to bring, I guess we'll bring Kaizer on to play on the right-hand side. But yeah, I very much want to turn Unlove into a starting attacking right-back for me. I think that's Unlove who's missed the header there. Is this being disallowed? It has been disallowed. So it doesn't matter anyway. Good stuff. I mean, we are mugging Baroka a little bit here. If you look at the XG, if you look at the balance of the match, it's been a very, very even match against a team who are very much in a relegation battle. And we're not looking like a team that you would expect to be winning the title, which is not ideal. We haven't got enough defenders. We need some more defenders. Right, Rapazza scored in the last game, so let's get him on. And fingers crossed, hold on, because I suspect when Kaizer Chiefs decide to start playing matches again, they'll win a lot of them. And that game in the next episode, which should be tomorrow, remember, with the new video schedule. Everyone got very confused on Wednesday when something else came out. You are still getting 5 episodes a week, though. So there'll be a Pentagon video tomorrow and then something different on Sunday as well. And I think that's probably the schedule we're going with for a little while. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for Pentagon. And then the something a little bit different videos will be on the other 2 days as we finally embrace the daily Football Manager content I've been telling you about in the outro for years. But the important thing there today is we've won both matches. We are still top of the league, and that is lovely to see. So if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much to all these lovely people who've signed up for the relaunch Patreon, and thank you very much for watching.